I love the backwards compatibility. I love the boosts that we're seeing for FPS on consoles. This is something that in the past, if you got backwards compatibility, you never quite knew exactly how it was going to be, or it could be like Sony removing it in the PS3 and getting a software version, which was inferior in almost all ways. One of the things that we've seen improvements on is Xbox. They've been doing the FPS boost. It's been an excellent addition to Xbox's offerings of improvements on older games. Recently, they added Electronic Arts titles such as Battlefield and offered improvements to FPS on both the Xbox S and X across various different titles, including Titanfall, which I know for a lot of people was a big surprise, but a welcome one. Now, today, Microsoft announced, and you probably just woke up to this, that they are adding even more than doubling the current amount of games that are getting boosts. And some of these titles are surprising because quite a few of them are getting 120 FPS boost. And if you want to know the exact list of games, check out news.xbox.com, and the list will, of course, be in the description here. But since I'm doing this prior and some of these are, there's a chance that maybe one or two of these will be removed, I don't want to state every single one in this video because we're not 100% sure. One or two of these might not pass testing. But some of the games that we do know are for sure being improved include almost all of the Far Cry titles up to 60 FPS, as well as Alien Isolation, the Assassin's Creed games, Rogue Remaster, Liberation, Unity, and the Exio collection that is getting that 60 FPS boost on both the X and the S. Now, one of the things that's been surprising in Microsoft is still improving titles that perhaps aren't exactly something we expect. These aren't titles that are breaking the bank. We get Titanfall, but in this update, they also included Dead Island Definitive Edition as well as Riptide, two games that aren't exactly known for a hefty user base currently. Of course, this is just Steam that you're seeing. We don't know the exact user base on the consoles, but it can't be much more. Now, games like Dragon Age Inquisition is on here. Shadow of the Tomb Raider and more are at 60 on both machines. But surprisingly, like I said, we see some games getting 120, including, of all things, Mad Max. That's on the list. Last Light, Metro, and a couple of Lego titles, which might be a little bit more easy to understand. Again, check the full list in the description as well as on the blog. It's nice to see these games getting updates to run at a much improved FPS. And when this got leaked to me, I look at some of these titles and I'm going to be honest, I saw some of them and I was like, I don't think that one's going to hit 120, but here we are. Now, one thing to remember is that for some of these, you end up having to take a hit for the resolution. In fact, I would say not necessarily all of them, but there are a couple, and you'll have to take that hit to resolution across the S or the X to get these extra frame rates. But I would say that for a lot of people, they will probably, especially on some of these titles, take that hit because the smoothness on some of these titles going to 120, that is going to be absolutely crazy. Check out the channel, my channel, for Resident Evil review coming up soon, as well as some others. Jump into these games if you get a chance. Hardline is on here. I mean, it's ridiculous, the amount of boost that we're getting for some of these titles. So if you have your Xbox X or Xbox S plugged into any kind of monitor that allows for those higher frame rates, or TVs that allow for true higher frame rates and not interpolation. But I want to know what you guys think of the FPS boost. What are some titles that you would like to see across PlayStation and Xbox? This isn't just one or the other. Xbox has a definitive plan for this, but the PS5 has certainly been improving frame rates on various games as well. What are some of the frame rates that you want to dive into? Additionally, since we know that the resolution does go down on some of these, how much of a resolution hit are you willing to take? For me, I would say 1080p is probably the lowest I want to go. I do know that in one or two of the games prior, it was down in the 900p. There might even have been one game that was at 720p. I could be wrong. As always, subscribe, hit the notification all button, please. It is absolutely the way to help the channel by doing those two things. You can come out and check me on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and of course the Discord, which is in the Patreon, an amazing place to be. This is exciting times. I hope to see more from both consoles doing this. Peace out.